What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B-Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my way too early WrestleMania 42 match card predictions. I actually made this video a couple weeks after WrestleMania 41, but since we're a little closer to April and WrestleMania 42, I figured I would do another one. And I might even do one in another 3 months, and then obviously when it gets closer to WrestleMania 42 itself. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. And don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get in the video. The first match that I am predicting for WrestleMania 42 is a normal singles match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Now, I know that they have faced off a ton. We saw it at Evolution. We saw it at WrestleMania 41 in the triple threat match with Bianca Belair. But let's be honest, these two put on banger match after banger match. So I don't care if they get in the ring with each other every week for the next 10 years. We would still be satisfied because of the great match that they are putting on. So yes, I do have this for WrestleMania for a couple reasons. The first being, I don't see either of these women being in the world title picture come WrestleMania. You're going to see the other matches that I have. I just don't think that they're going to be in either world title match. Maybe they are in the mid-card match to help the mid-card division, maybe on SmackDown or Raw. They obviously are both Raw superstars, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I have a different match for the women's mid-card title as well. I think that they should just run this one-on-one because obviously Rhea Ripley has never defeated Io Sky in her career, NXT and main roster. That's been a story that they've been building for over a year now. So I think that it's a perfect opportunity to do it at this year's WrestleMania because obviously this is a WrestleMania match. I mean, these are the two most over women on the main roster. Like, you have to do it, right? At some point, Rhea Ripley is going to get that win versus Io Sky. That's the story right there. It doesn't need any world title. It doesn't need a championship at all. The story is right in front of you that Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io Sky, and I ultimately think that she would obviously beat Io Sky in this match at WrestleMania. But like I said, I just don't see them being in the world title picture come WrestleMania. They've both been involved in the world title picture the last 2 to 3 years. So I think it's time that, we just see normal singles matches with female wrestlers like we saw with Naomi and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania 41. They obviously can do it. And I even have one more on this WrestleMania 42 match card that I'm going to talk about soon. But I think, yeah, they should just do Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. No title on the line. Nothing else but Rhea Ripley trying to get that first win over Io Sky. I think that's the story right there. That's all you need, and this would obviously absolutely cook. And like I said, I think Rhea Ripley would definitely finally get her win versus Io Sky. Now let's move over to the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which I think will be defended for the first time at WrestleMania by the current champion, Becky Lynch, and I think that she will take on Stephanie Vaquer. Now, obviously, Becky Lynch, she won that title a bit ago, and she's had an insane title reign, in my opinion. The stuff with Bayley and Lyra was just incredible. The matches they put on, the storytelling was phenomenal. And now we're getting into a storyline and feud with Nikki Bella, which I think is pretty cool. I'm very excited for that. But obviously, I don't think Nikki Bella is going to be the one to dethrone Becky Lynch. I could see Becky taking this title to WrestleMania 42, and I wouldn't be mad at it. I know a lot of people on the internet would be mad at that, but I wouldn't. I love Becky Lynch. I think she's done an incredible job as champion. She's elevated the title, which is the biggest thing here. And obviously, like I said, that title was not defended at WrestleMania 41. Lyra Valkyria was in a tag match for the tag titles. So Becky defending that title, giving it that prestige, that would be huge. And like I said, Stephanie Vaquer versus Becky Lynch, obviously that is a dream match. I mean, I think a lot of people could say they want to see Becky Lynch versus Stephanie Vaquer. The stuff they could do inside the ring, I can only imagine. It would be insane. And I think Stephanie Vaquer would be the right person to end the reign of Becky Lynch. I could see it being like an Io Sky, but I just would rather it be like a Stephanie Vaquer, someone who hasn't won a championship in WWE on the main roster yet, and that is Stephanie Vaquer. I know she has a world title match coming up at Clash in Paris versus Naomi. I don't expect her to win that, but I do expect her to give her more of a spotlight, put her in these big-time matches, and then ultimately get her a singles match at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch for the women's IC title. And like I said, I think Stephanie Vaquer would definitely win because let's face it, they want to strap a rocket to her back, and rightfully so. She is so damn over with the audience. And like I said, she's an incredible in-ring worker, so I think she does deserve to be the one to dethrone Becky Lynch. I really just can't see it being anybody else, if I'm being honest. This would be an absolute dream match, and I really do hope that this happens. The next match that I'm predicting for the WrestleMania 42 card is a singles match between Gunther and Brock Lesnar. I think this year could be the year they finally do it. Obviously, they've been teasing it for some time. The Royal Rumble interactions, this is obviously just a dream match that everybody wants to see. I hope they did do it at WrestleMania 42 because we obviously know Brock Lesnar did make his shocking return at SummerSlam after being away for 2 years, coming back and F5ing John Cena. Obviously, I expect his first feud back to be John Cena without a shadow of a doubt. But you have to look at the bigger picture, and that's what happens after that John Cena feud and that John Cena match. I think that Gunther is the best option. I think for me, I think he has two dream matches since coming back to WWE that he can do before, he can ride into the sun and retire. And I think that is Gunther, and I think that is also Braun Breaker. I don't know if Braun Breaker will happen. I just think that they're in two completely different waves right now. I just don't see a world where that happens. But maybe down the line, maybe next year in SummerSlam in Brock's hometown, which I think will be his retirement match. But as for WrestleMania, I don't think it can get much better than Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. I mean, just imagine how hard-hitting that match would be. Obviously, this means Brock Lesnar would probably have to be a babyface going into this match. Obviously, him returning, he's a heel because he took out John Cena. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But maybe he turns back to being a face, or maybe they just do heel versus heel. I don't know. But I think either way that it would be pretty damn cool to see these two get in the ring with each other and finally have a singles match. This would also just be an awesome, moment for Brock Lesnar to put over Gunther, who is, I know he's a little older, but he is kind of like the next Brock Lesnar in a way. He's that big, bad, intimidating heel that Brock Lesnar was. So I really do hope that this happens. I don't know if Brock Lesnar's going to come back for John Cena and then go away again or retire. I think he should stick around at least for another year, like I said, till SummerSlam because it's in his hometown. And I think him giving Gunther that big-time WrestleMania match would be absolutely perfect. And it would be a great opportunity to put over Gunther. The next match that I'm predicting for this WrestleMania 42 card is a singles match between Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, and I think this match will be hair versus career. Obviously, I know that they had a WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 39, which was dang awesome, by the way. I know that WrestleMania 40, they were involved in a tag match together, but I think that Rey's time is coming up, sadly. I do think he is going to retire very soon. I know he's out with an injury right now. He missed WrestleMania 41 because of that injury. He was supposed to have a match with Chad Gable, or El Grande Americano, I should say. But I think that his time is winding down, especially after an injury being in his early 50s. I think he's going to hang the boots up sooner or later. Obviously, November we'll see Survivor Series in his hometown. I do expect him to be on that card. I'm not sure what that match is going to be, but if I had to predict something, I would think if he's going to have a singles match at Survivor Series, I know that might not happen. It might be a tag match. He might be in the War Games match. I think a singles match with Penta at Survivor Series would be really cool because that is a dream match for a lot of fans around the world. I would love to see them do that at some point. They could also do that at WrestleMania 42. That's very possible as well. But I think that they would rather do that at Survivor Series and then move on to Dom versus Rey at WrestleMania. If anybody is going to retire Rey Mysterio, it's going to be his dang son. Like, it doesn't make sense for anybody else to do it, especially since Rey has beaten Dom a couple times at WrestleMania. It would be the ultimate, father-son moment for, the son to finally get one over his dad, right? And that would be awesome, and it would help Dominic Mysterio so much. Obviously, he's been thriving right now, even with, not feuding with his dad. Obviously, he's found himself, he's found his groove, his character, but having him retire Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, I feel like that's the perfect way for Rey to go out. I don't think Rey Mysterio would want to go out any other way, so I would love to see this. And I think a lot of people would also, not know who would win because I feel like a lot of people would love to see Dominic Mysterio get his mullet cut. So I think that's, also a cool way to look at it too. Have like the stakes on the match, not really announce it as Rey's retirement match, but have it be hair versus retirement. I feel like that would be the ultimate stipulation for Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. The next match that I'm predicting for WrestleMania 42 is a singles match between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Now, I know that these two are the current tag team champions. It's been a very fun run. I've loved what they've been doing with both of these, kind of being, that not friends situation, but they're also, two veterans of the locker room. So you just love to see them, come together as a tag team, even if it is a little random. I have been liking this storyline, and it's also helped Charlotte Flair a lot. She's obviously been getting praised a lot more. She's been getting cheers instead of boos. So I love this for them. But like all random tag teams do, I feel like it's going to end with a heel turn down the line some point. And I think that that'll probably be Charlotte Flair because Alexa Bliss, naturally gets the cheers and Charlotte Flair naturally gets the boos. It could be the other way. Alexa Bliss might turn on Charlotte Flair. I'd be fine with that too, but I feel like it's going to be the other way around. But it doesn't matter, obviously. I think regardless of who it is or what happens, we will get this singles match at WrestleMania. I think it has to happen. Like I said, these are two of the pillars of women's wrestling, right? I know Alexa isn't included in the four horsewomen with Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, but I feel like she's the fifth, the fifth wheel right there that people just don't talk about much. I just would love to see this match because, like I said, the history there, they obviously have a ton of history that dates back to over a decade ago. So I feel like, this could be their opportunity to have their like final match together maybe. I'm not sure, but I would really love to see this because these two do have good chemistry in the ring and on the microphone. So this isn't like a Charlotte and Tiffany situation where you don't know what you're going to get. And obviously the build up for that match was bad. The match itself wasn't great. But man, I would love to see this match. As for who goes over, I genuinely don't know. I'm just going to predict Alexa Bliss, but like it could be Charlotte Flair. To be honest, I wouldn't care who really won this match. But like I said, I really do hope that this ends up happening at WrestleMania because I feel like this is a WrestleMania type match. So I really do hope that they end up doing this. The next match that I have on this WrestleMania 42 card is a singles match between Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. Yes, I know that this is absolutely random and right now they have nothing to do with each other, but I just don't know where else they fit onto this card. As I was making it, I was like, can I put one or even both of them in world title feuds? I just don't think I can because I have much better matches with, much better storylines that people can tell, over a Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. I just don't feel like they would fit into any of the world title matches at WrestleMania. And I don't want to stoop them down to the mid-card matches for the mid-card belts because I feel like, obviously Drew McIntyre's past that, but I feel like LA Knight's past that as well. I don't really want to see him go after any more mid-card titles. I do want him in the main event scene. I love both of these guys in the main event scene. I do hope they both get world title runs within these next couple of years. But as for WrestleMania, I just feel like the matches I have for the world title are just so much better than, what can happen with Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. So I just put them in a match with each other because obviously I don't want to leave them off of the WrestleMania 42 card. And obviously I think, the promos between these two would be really good. The match probably wouldn't be too bad. This wouldn't be something I would be like too excited for. But like I said, I don't want to leave these guys off of WrestleMania. So this is the best I could do, unfortunately. The next match that I have on this WrestleMania 42 card is a fatal four-way match for the United States Championship between Jacob Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, and Aleister Black. I really do hope that we get some multi-man matches at WrestleMania this year. We did get a fatal four-way for the IC title last year. That was an awesome match. But I felt like the US title also deserved to be a multi-man match, whether that was a fatal four-way or a ladder match. And I have this being a fatal four-way because I'm going to get into the IC title match that I have. But I feel like this would absolutely cook. I do think that Damian Priest and Aleister Black are perfect in that mid-card division. I know that they're feuding right now, so I don't know, if they'll be in the same match together that far down the line, but I totally wouldn't mind it at all. As for Jacob Fatu, I think he's going to walk into this match as the champion. I think he's going to beat Solo for the title. I don't know how long that feud's going to drag on for. Hopefully not too much longer, but I do think he will be the one to beat Solo. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. And then obviously the other guy I have in this match is Carmelo Hayes. And I want Carmelo Hayes to win this match. I think Carmelo Hayes should also be John Cena's last opponent. I have high hopes for Carmelo Hayes. I don't know how the WWE views him because obviously he's not really showcased too much or as much as he was when he first got to SmackDown. Hopefully that changes. Maybe that changes with a match versus John Cena at some point in his retirement or being his retirement match, which I am really banking on because I feel like that would take him to the next level. That would get him the more reactions that maybe WWE's looking for. And then he can win that United States title at WrestleMania. I feel like, that's the direction I wanted them to go last year. I wanted either Carmelo Hayes or Jimmy Uso to be the one to win the U.S. title. I thought it was going to be a ladder match, so I thought there was a possibility it was going to be one of them two. Obviously, I love Jacob Fatu. I love Jacob Fatu as champion, but when it comes to WrestleMania, I would really hope that they pull the trigger and give the title to Carmelo Hayes. The next match that I have on this card is a 6-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, and that is between AJ Styles, Ilya Dragunov, Chad Gable, Rusev, Logan Paul, and Sheamus. I know that this is a crazy match, and this probably won't end up happening, but this would be super fun. I think that WrestleMania every year should at least have one ladder match. I would also like the idea of one ladder match on each night, but I don't think that they're going to do that. WrestleMania 40, the ladder match was great, and the tag team match. I could also see them doing a tag team ladder match at WrestleMania. I don't actually have the SmackDown tag titles being featured on WrestleMania. I hope that they are, but I only have 14 matches because that's what we've been getting with WrestleMania, 7 on each night. And like I said, I do hope that they get added onto the card. But I would really like this to be the ladder match because we've seen the tag ladder matches. They're amazing. You can throw them on every week. I'd still find them enjoyable. But I feel like we haven't seen a match like this in a long time. And the people in this match, I think, are just very deserving of the IC championship, like Rusev, who just returned to WWE. I think that he fits perfectly in that mid-card division. Sheamus, I mean, he's got to win that IC title at some point. He's been chasing the title that has eluded him his entire career for some time now, and he's not been able to get it. I think he definitely has to get it at some point. I don't know how much longer they're going to make us wait, to be honest. Logan Paul, I think, fits perfectly in the mid card. I just don't see him as a main eventer. Maybe in the future, I like Logan Paul. I don't like him in the main event scene. I don't like him feuding with John Cena. I didn't like him, feuding with AJ Styles. I just feel like he should belong, in the mid card, fighting for that IC title. That is kind of hypocritical because I do have AJ Styles in this match as well. But I think AJ Styles might walk into this match as IC champion. I think he's going to beat Dominic Mysterio for the title at Clash in Paris. Now, obviously, I don't know if he's going to carry it all the way until April, but there's a possibility. Ilya Dragunov is scheduled to return soon, so I do hope that we see him inserted into this mid-card division. I know that they're planning a feud between him and AJ Styles. Hopefully that doesn't fall through. And maybe Ilya will be the one to dethrone AJ sometime before WrestleMania. Maybe he'll walk into Mania as the champion. I'm not too sure. I also have Chad Gable in this match just because I feel like Chad also deserves that IC championship because it's been so long. He was so red hot. And, with the whole Otis and Sami Zayn storyline. And then they did nothing, man. And then they turned him into El Grande Americano. And now he's injured. I really hope that Chad Gable can pick back up some steam when he comes back. I hope they drop the El Grande thing, before WrestleMania. I'm not sure how much longer that's going to go for, but I really wouldn't mind if Chad was the one to win this match. I wouldn't mind if it was Sheamus finally winning his championship, right? I wouldn't mind if it was Ilya Dragunov. I could see everyone in this match winning, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Ilya Dragunov. The next match that I'm predicting for WrestleMania 42 is for the Raw Tag Team Championships between the champions Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed taking on Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. This is probably by far the wildest match that I have on my card because obviously Braun and Bronson, they're not even involved in the tag division, but I think that they could help that tag division so much. The Raw tag division is literally dead. I think the one way you can fix it is by having Braun and Bronson just take those titles and being those dominant champions. I feel like that would add so much prestige to those titles that it has just not found since they split the titles at WrestleMania 40. This would be huge in my opinion, especially since Seth is the World Heavyweight Champion. Imagine Seth as the World Champion and then these two as the tag champs. I feel like that's how you make a faction really just unbeatable. Obviously, they've been doing a great job as they are, but adding the tag titles into that faction I think would be perfect. And then obviously Jimmy and Jay reuniting, I think that's obviously another crazy opinion. I don't know if it's going to happen. I do just want to see them reunite. I know that Jay, at his singles career, right, he's had a lot of success, right? He just came off a world championship reign. Obviously, he's super over with the fans. He sells the merch. I don't know if they want to put him back into the tag division, but I would just love this because Jimmy Uso, they're just not booking him to do anything. He's been stuck in the bloodline vortex with Solo and them for ever. And it kills me. I want to see him do something more. And, maybe the way we get here is by Braun and Bronson continuing to destroy everyone on Raw, and they destroy Jey Uso. Jay calls Jimmy in for backup. I'm going to get into the match that I have with Roman Reigns, but you'll see that it makes sense, if this match would happen at WrestleMania because, well, hint, hint, they're all in the bloodline, right? It's the OG bloodline. So I feel like it would be awesome to see them all battling it out against Seth Rollins' new faction. I might as well get into that match next at this point. But yeah, this would be awesome to see, and I do think it would probably be the Usos to dethrone Braun and Bronson. The next match that I have on this WrestleMania 42 card is for the Women's World Championship, and that is between the champion Bianca Belair and the challenger Jade Cargill. Obviously, Bianca Belair, she's not the current champion. I do think she will be the one to dethrone Naomi at some point. Maybe that's at a Survivor Series PLE or something like that. I think that Bianca is endgame for Naomi's title reign. I think that it only makes sense. She's the only one that I could see being the one to dethrone her. So yes, I think Bianca will walk into WrestleMania 42 as the Women's World Champion. And I think that the big money match is with Jade Cargill because obviously they came, Jade, when she came into WWE, she immediately became a tag team with Bianca. They had 2 tag title reigns. Obviously, the whole drama with Naomi split them apart, and they just have kind of been weird towards each other in the interactions that we have had, and it obviously hasn't been that many. So yeah, I would love to see this at WrestleMania. I think this was a dream match since Jade stepped foot into WWE. Obviously, very similar build. It just makes so much sense, right? Who's the stronger one between Jade and Bianca? And obviously, there's some history there. From the last couple of years and being tag champions and the whole stuff with Naomi. Maybe you have a world where Bianca reveals she was the one who told Naomi to attack Jade. I don't know. But I think this feud could absolutely cook. Whether it was a heel Bianca or a heel Jade, I would love this. I think Jade Cargill is a serious contender to win Royal Rumble this year. I don't think she will, because you're going to get, when I get into my next match, you'll see. But I think that she could win the Elimination Chamber as well, obviously. And I think if Bianca Belair is going to defend that title at WrestleMania, I think that it should be against Jade Cargill. And if I had to pick a winner, I would want Bianca to win, but I feel like this would be the moment Jade Cargill finally won her first World Championship in WWE. Now let's move over to the WWE Women's Championship match that I am predicting for WrestleMania 42, and that is Liv Morgan going against Tiffany Stratton for that championship. I think the way that we get here is Liv Morgan returns at the Royal Rumble. She goes on to win the Royal Rumble. I think she's going to get an amazing pop if that's where she returns. I cannot wait for that. I just can't wait for her return regardless. She's my favorite WWE women's superstar, so I do want to see her finally win a Royal Rumble. She's always runner-up, whether it's the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. Her finally winning a Royal Rumble, I feel like, would just be absolutely insane. So I do hope that that happens. And obviously a feud with Tiffany Stratton, that's something fresh. That's something that we have not seen in WWE. I think that can really go somewhere. I think the match they could have as well, they're both incredible in-ring workers. I think the match they could have could be awesome as well. I do think Liv Morgan should be endgame for Tiffany Stratton's title reign, and that is going to be a long title reign from Tiffany Stratton. If she holds the title all the way until WrestleMania 42, she's already held it for about, I think, 215 plus days. So by the time we get to WrestleMania, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a long title reign for Tiffany Stratton. I could also see a world where Jade Cargill is the one to take the title from Tiffany, obviously sometime before WrestleMania if they keep that feud going. But if Tiffany is keeping that title, I think she should probably keep it to WrestleMania, and then you do the program with Liv Morgan and returning Liv at Royal Rumble. Whether she comes back as a babyface or if she stays heel, I don't really care, to be honest. I think Liv is the right winner for the Royal Rumble, and I think she's the right person to take the title off of Tiffany Stratton. The next match that I'm predicting for WrestleMania 42 is a long shot, so don't even comment anything. I know that this probably has a 0.5% chance of happening, but man, would I love this. And I am talking about CM Punk defending the World Heavyweight Championship against a returning Kevin Owens. Yes, I know that that's crazy. I know Kevin Owens is probably going to miss WrestleMania 42. But I was looking down the roster, and I didn't really know who, if CM Punk, who I presume will be the world champion going into WrestleMania, I could totally be wrong. It could be Seth Rollins going into Mania as the world champion. It could be Sami Zayn, which I really hope it's not. But if CM Punk was to go into Mania as the world champion, I didn't really see a lot that I liked. We saw Drew McIntyre already. Obviously, I don't want to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns in any capacity because we've already gotten that. And I'm going to get into the match that I have with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. You can probably take a guess at what that is. But, Cody Rhodes, he's obviously one that we think CM Punk should feud with and at WrestleMania because they've teased it twice now. I could see them doing that for the WWE Championship. But if CM Punk, like I want, is world champion going into WrestleMania, they're not going to do that match at all, because why go title for title? That would be so stupid with the amount of talent you have on the roster. So yeah, I have a returning Kevin Owens winning the Royal Rumble, just like Liv Morgan, and then going on to face CM Punk at WrestleMania for the world title. I know it's not going to happen. I can't stress that enough. I know it, but just let me dream. This is an absolute dream match between these two. Not even just from an in-ring standpoint, because I feel like their styles can mesh very well, but also, dude, the promos that we could get from CM Punk and Kevin Owens, it would be generational. They already have had beef in the past as well. I do want to mention that. And, the little, segments that we've had between them, they haven't, really said words to each other, but they've, passed each other in the hallway. That moment where Kevin Owens threw Punk's t-shirt off the table, and then he obviously, looked at Punk. Punk asked him, I think, where something was, told him where it was, and then gave him a little smirk, right? They're setting it up. They were setting it up. Obviously, with Kevin Owens' injury, I don't know how he could be out for 3 years. I'm not sure what the timeline of this injury is. I don't think anybody does. So yeah, I know that this is a very long shot, but if Kevin Owens somehow magically got cleared for the Royal Rumble, I think he, without a doubt, should win it and go on to face CM Punk for that World Championship. And I think it would be an awesome moment to see Kevin Owens beat CM Punk and win another World Championship in WWE. Like I said, I know it's probably not going to happen. But imagine a world where he did that at WrestleMania, and then he would go on to hold the title for a little bit, and then Sami Zayn dethroned Kevin Owens for the World Championship. I'm not a big Sami Zayn guy. I know a lot of people think that this whole underdog story is going to lead to him winning at WrestleMania versus Seth Rollins. I pray to God not. I hope it's not Sami versus Punk either, because that feud does not have me interested. This is the feud that has me interested. And I think Sami Zayn finally winning a world title. If he beat Kevin Owens for that title, I'd be happy. I would love to see that. But like Sami beating a Seth Rollins or a CM Punk at WrestleMania, that's just a waste. I really don't want to see that feud anymore between Punk and or between Rollins and Zayn. And then, like I said, I don't think a feud between Sami Zayn and CM Punk can be too good. Definitely wouldn't be as good as Kevin Owens and CM Punk. So yeah, I know, long shot of happening, but I have Kevin Owens versus CM Punk as probably the match that kicks off WrestleMania, either night 1 or night 2, and I have Kevin Owens becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. The next match that I am predicting for WrestleMania 42 is the night 1 main event, and that is between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Yeah, I've been subtly teasing it this entire video. I was going to get to it at some point. Yeah, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 42 has to happen. It needs to happen, and it needs to be the main event. I think this could also main event night 2. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. I think it absolutely deserves to main event night 2. But either way, night 1, night 2, main event, whatever it is, that's fine with me. This absolutely needs to happen. Obviously, the history that they have with each other, going back to the Shield days, over a decade ago, Seth always having Roman's number, having, Paul Heyman join him and turn on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41, and Seth once again beating and pinning Roman Reigns in that match. Like, the history, this doesn't need a title. I want to point that out. This does not need the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, sure, it can be in the match, that's fine, but the history is what this match is about, right? This would probably be a last match ever between these two, which is kind of sad to think about, but it obviously has to end at some point, and it has to happen at WrestleMania. It can't happen at any other PLE. One-on-one between these two, no shenanigans. I just want a one-on-one between these two. No Braun and Bronson, no Bloodline, no. I want this to be the one-on-one match, and like I said, no interferences, and I want Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins, because obviously he has to. Seth Rollins has had his number for all these years. If Seth were to win that singles match at WrestleMania, I don't know where Roman would really go from there. Roman has to finally conquer Seth, and I think that it's definitely going to happen at WrestleMania. I just hope they don't screw us out of this match and say, oh, let's go with the underdog Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and have Sami win the Rumble and beat Seth for the title. I would hate that. If they did that, I would absolutely hate that so much, because then I don't even know what you would do with Roman Reigns in that scenario. This is the way to go. This is the easiest layup. You can't fumble this match at all. I would be super stoked to see this. Like I said, it doesn't need the World Heavyweight Championship, right? You can do another match for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then you could also have this match. The main event, night 1, I mean, it's right there. Like, this is the easiest layup that WWE has, and like I said, I think that, the way we get here is probably with, Roman Reigns costing Seth Rollins that title at some point. We know CM Punk's feuding with LA Knight and Seth Rollins, or feuding with LA Knight and CM Punk right now. But I think that it will ultimately be CM Punk to take the title back from Seth Rollins, maybe as late as Royal Rumble, because I feel like Seth's going to have a decently long title reign. I'm not sure how many days that would be, but I think that the way this happens is Roman Reigns gets written off TV again, maybe gets destroyed by Seth and his faction division, and then he comes back, he screws Rollins out of that title. CM Punk wins back the title that he lost in 5 minutes at SummerSlam. He gets his awesome moment, and then you get the start of Roman versus Seth going to WrestleMania. At that point, I don't even think Seth would care that CM Punk's the world champion. He would put that in the rearview mirror, and he would just be so pissed off at Roman Reigns that he just, wants that match with Roman Reigns to happen immediately, and then they would build for that for WrestleMania, and then they would finally have their last match ever. Please do this, WWE. This is the easiest layup of all time. And finally, that brings me to the Night 2 WrestleMania 42 main event that I have predicted, and that is Cody Rhodes defending his undisputed WWE Championship against Randy Orton. It has to happen, right? I know that we saw the match at Night of Champions for the King of the Ring, and I think that there's just so much more to do, if I'm being honest. I think you have to turn Randy Orton heel sometime down the line. He has to turn heel, and we need to get heel Orton versus babyface Cody Rhodes. The history, like I was talking about with Roman and Seth, the history is really all this match needs, but the undisputed title just adds a layer, because Randy Orton finally winning a 15th world title after 6 years since his last championship reign. I would absolutely love that. And I do think Randy Orton would be the one to dethrone Cody Rhodes. I would really like this. And maybe it's the same thing where Randy beats Cody and then Cody beats Randy back for the title. I don't really care. I would just love to see this match at WrestleMania, because they've teased it so many times. When Cody was champion the first time around, Randy Orton, the way he was looking at the title, the way he was, talking to Cody Rhodes, subtly, foreshadowing stuff, and then it never happened in that first title reign. We all thought it was going to happen probably at WrestleMania before the John Cena heel turn, right? And now I feel like the second reign, you just have to do it. Like, there's no way that you don't do this on Cody Rhodes' second WWE Championship reign. I want to see this match so bad. Not the match, obviously, not just the match. I want to see the damn feud as well because of all the history they have. This could literally be a trilogy as well. I don't know if it would end at WrestleMania, start at WrestleMania, or just be a one-match thing. I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to see these two get in the ring with each other. Like, in my opinion, I think Cody Rhodes has two legitimate WrestleMania Night 2 main event feuds, and it's either CM Punk or Randy Orton. If they do CM Punk, obviously CM Punk can't be the World Heavyweight Champion going into WrestleMania. Maybe Punk wins the Royal Rumble. I think that's a possibility as well. But either way, CM Punk or Randy Orton, you have to do one of them because they are the two big WrestleMania money matches. And I want to see them so bad. But if I'm being honest, I want to see CM Punk walk into Mania as the World Champion. So therefore, I think we get Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for that championship, with Randy Orton being the one to dethrone Cody. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys would like to see from me. Alright guys, peace.